48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. A very powerful book that teaches you how to gain more power in a variety of ways. There's some controversy to this book. Some call this book manipulative, evil, or revolting, but that's not really the best way to look at it. Instead of looking at these methods as good or bad, look at it as a tool. It's not the tool itself that's bad, it's more about the person who's using the tool. Now, power is a social game. The game of power is everywhere. You just can't opt out of it. The game of power is not visible among sheeps and norms of society, which is why you should learn these methods and tactics that can control your life. Otherwise, people will control your life for you. This is easily one of the best books I've read. It would definitely go in my top 3 books. Now, I know that may change over time as I read more books, but this is going to be very hard to beat. Very well written, and maybe look at the world differently. There's so much value you can get from this book. There's a lot of historical examples he uses in this book to represent the laws of power, which I really like. It taught me a lot about history as well. But the more important thing is learning from what these people did, what worked for them, and what mistakes they made. All these laws have a lot of details and go really in depth. I wasn't just reading this book, I was studying this book. I was constantly taking down notes how I can apply it to my life. You can also do the same if you want to. It tells you how these laws can be used and what happens if you break one of the laws of power. There are consequences in misusing a law or breaking a law. There are exceptions, though, where you don't need to use a law. He calls it the reversal, talks about it at the end of chapters. So you don't have to use the law sometimes. Some laws, however, don't have any reversal, so that was interesting. I want to go through some of the laws right now so you know what the book is like. I picked some of my favorite laws. First up is law number 4. Always say less than necessary. Now, why should you say less than necessary? Well, the more you say, the more likely you're going to say something stupid. The more likely you are to offend someone, which can cause multiple consequences to you. A person who cannot control their words cannot control themselves. You must tame and control your tongue. If it's not tamed, it will run wild and cause you grief. There's consequences when you say certain things to people, which is why you should say less than necessary. Be enigmatic and say very few words. However, keep in mind you don't want to be doing this all the time. There are times when it's unwise to be silent. Silence can arouse suspicion and insecurity, or just irritate people, but for the most part you should be very careful of what you should say. You don't need to say that much. Next law. Law number 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. Basically what this law means is avoid negative and toxic people or anyone that makes your life worse, because negativity and misfortune is very contagious. It will spread to you. They'll also spread to your family and friends. It gets worse over time, therefore it makes your life worse. This is because humans are extremely susceptible to the moods and emotions and the way of thinking of people they spend time with. In the presence of a infectious person, don't argue and don't help. Flee the affecter's presence or suffer the consequences. The unhappy and unstable have a strong affecting power. They often present themselves as victims, but really their miseries are self-inflicted. Most of the time they draw misfortune and unhappiness upon themselves. You must avoid these people or they will bring you down with them. So learn how to recognize and spot these types of people. The answer lies in judging people by the effects they have on the world, not on the reasons they give for their problems. In other words, they have a victim mentality. Very important law to follow. Alright, here's another law I really like. Law number 28. Enter action with bonus. If you're unsure or hesitant of a course of action, don't do it. Your timidity will affect your execution dramatically. If you're going to do something, do it without hesitation. Hesitations puts obstacles in your path. Bonus eliminates them. Now, once you understand this, you'll find it essentially natural to overcome your natural timidity and practice the art of audacity. This is quite I really like from this chapter. I'll read out to you. It says, actions are dangerous when there is doubt as to their wisdom. It would be safer to do nothing. Which means, don't be scared, don't have doubts, just do it. You're going to have doubts and go half-ass at it. You might as well do nothing. That's what it means. So, this is one of my favorite laws, because a lot of people let fear control them. You need to be fearless and be bold in the actions. And just pull the trigger. Alright, this is the last law I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to go through all the laws in this video. That'll be way too long, but... Law number 25. Recreate yourself. The world wants to assign you a role in life. When you accept that role, you are doomed. Your power is limited to the tiny amount allotted to the role you selected or forced into. Don't let people and society decide who you are. You decide to be whoever you want to be. Force a new identity that's made by you. One that has no boundaries and no limits. A memorable character. One that compels attention and stands out above the others on stage. Along with that, learn to play many roles. Be whatever the moment requires and adapt your mask to the situation. Many people could definitely use this law, including you. Recreate yourself into a better person or greater character. So, yeah, that's all the laws I want to talk to you about. I should also tell you that you don't use all 48 laws at once, because a lot of laws contradict each other. Many laws are meant to be used at certain situations and at certain times. For example, there's a law that says, crush your enemies totally. And another law that says, never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. Well, which one do you use? Do you destroy your enemies or do you use your enemies? Well, it depends on the situation, you see. You gotta figure that out for yourself. It gives you examples and more details in the book. That way you have a better idea on when and how to use these laws. Now, you don't understand and know these laws, you're at a major disadvantage. You don't read this, you're doing a big disservice to yourself, because you have a limited view on the world. You won't be able to use all these great methods and tools. Like I said before, I see the information in the book as tools, not as good or bad. It's up to you on how you use it. This book is very well written and will intrigue you a lot. With this type of knowledge, you navigate this world with more ease, because you know how the laws of power work. By the way, some people use these laws without actually knowing the 48 laws of power. Just a little side note I wanted to add. I've seen this many times, which was pretty interesting. I highly recommend you get this book. You want to get this book, there's a link in the description down below. Check it out. Now, I might do more videos of this book, because that's how much I like it. Go deep and talk about the individual laws themselves. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if this video provided value to you. Remember to stay in your purpose. Okay? And farewell.